Diversity has a lot of different definitions, and it's our community where what we defined as definitions.
The primary one that we talk about is just the differences. Whether
Any way people can be different.
We talk about variety in any topic. We talk about food, colors, shapes, also personalities.
I think sometimes when people say diversity, people automatically think of race, but more importantly, I think you have to incorporate religions and cultures, and it's not just as simple as race.
and a totally different. My initial thing is learning styles, being able to differentiate to the different needs of the students.
We also said diverse options, thinking outside of the box.
As you can see, there's lots of different definitions, and there's no really one right answer. It's everything. It's really it's such a huge topic. Two things that the research says right now is there's the diversity of culture, where race and religion and everything comes in, and there's also a diversity of literacy that the research feels that we really don't address enough. And even within when we're talking about our own community here, the children learn from each other so many things and accept so many differences, and sometimes is as we get older we have to learn to step back and look in a different pair of lens, so to speak, to see a bigger picture. Students seem to really accept a lot of differences. We're in positive discipline classroom meetings, and all of you will experience that, and the upper grades really have the next level of our class meetings. They really get into certain topics. It's not just always behavior or what games we're going to play at recess. They get into some big topics, and especially in middle school you'll see debates and things. And they're trying, many times our intermediate and middle school students are bringing a topic just to hear what are people's feelings about this, what are their reactions to this. And I think that we need to have conversations, but conversations in settings that we can share out in very respectful ways. This was on one of the websites that if we took the whole world and we shrunk it down to 100 people, but with the same configurations of what's in the whole world, I thought some of the statistics were incredible. Well, at ACA 2, we did we started off with the learning styles. I mean, that's how our charter was designed, with Howard Gardner's 9 intelligences. And that's the biggest premise of our charter, is looking at children in all their different ways that they learn. And it doesn't matter what religion you're coming from. Within all religions, there's all different kinds of learning styles. Doesn't matter what culture or what race or what language you speak, all of these learning styles are within all of that. This is where we get to really think about our community and diversity. And anybody first, if we want to share out really quickly about what we were just discussing, if you want to bring out some points.
One thing I was just curious about is I remember in kindergarten when they sit down with the child and they kind of look at the Gardner styles, and how does that, once they're quote unquote labeled or whatever, how does that really brought up again in their file, or how does that carry on through their learning styles at our, specifically here?
I think we're getting better at it. Two things are happening. In the primary, we're trying to keep including it on every report card, and in our conversation and conferences with parents, we kind of return to that and explaining some of their interest level, or maybe some of the assessment pieces to explain, why they do some of the things they do. And the second part is, especially now, we're in WASC accreditation. We're being accredited this year. And we're looking at our big tests, our STAR tests, to see some of our different learners, how do they perform on the tests? How do the visual spatial students that really like to see things in design and they think in charts and pictures and things, how do they perform in math, or how do they perform in language arts? So it's just a little step. We're taking baby steps, but that's where we're trying to connect the pieces. Could you kind of explain real quickly about the research projects?
Sure.
Yes.
So our research projects for intermediate grades 4, 5, and 6, it's they do one project per trimester, and it's, think of it as we know a book report or a small state report or whatever. That would be like one piece of the whole project. There are 6 pieces to the whole project, and it's based on the multiple intelligences. So they'll do a math, what I call performances, a math performance, taking the information and maybe graphing different information, or doing surveys with other students, or researching things. There's nature performance. There's a word performance. Some kids they might make a whole play, and try to act it out, or some done videotapes. They've created videos for the actual word, the actual writing, and so we're looking at all the intelligences in one project. So it gives kids, there's obviously some things that they're going to gravitate more towards, and they're going to do really well at, and there's others that they're not so well at, and that's okay, and that's part of the whole learning sphere is trying to find those balances. So it kind of takes it all, and we're doing it all the time.
Which one describes our classroom or school? That's where it came from, but I just wanted everybody to see.